Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, guilty, or drained without really knowing why? Maybe you apologized even though you weren't sure what you'd done wrong. Maybe you started doubting your own memory, your own feelings. If this sounds familiar, you've probably dealt with an emotional manipulator. Emotional manipulators don't use fists or shouting to control people. They use psychology. Their power lies in subtlety, in twisting emotions, in making you feel responsible for their moods and mistakes. They don't dominate through force. They dominate through guilt, confusion, and charm. And the scariest part is that most of the time, you don't even realize it's happening until you're already caught in their web. So what are their secret tactics? What's really going on beneath their calm smiles, their wounded looks, their carefully chosen words? Let's start with one of their favorite tools, gaslighting. This is the art of making you doubt your own reality. A manipulator will deny what they said, twist what you remember, or downplay your emotions until you start thinking, maybe I'm overreacting. If you tell them they hurt you, they'll say, I never said that, or you're too sensitive. And over time, those little distortions erode your confidence in your own perception. You stop trusting your instincts, and when you stop trusting yourself, they have full control. Another powerful tactic is guilt tripping. Manipulators know that empathy is your weak spot. They play the victim to make you feel sorry for them, even when they're the ones causing harm. They'll say things like, I guess I'm just not good enough for you. Or, after everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? Suddenly, you're the one who feels cruel, selfish, or ungrateful. Guilt becomes the leash they use to pull you back every time you try to set a boundary. Then there's selective kindness. At times, they can be incredibly loving, generous, and attentive. They give you affection, compliments, attention, just enough to make you believe in the connection again. And right when you start to relax, they pull it away. This creates a cycle of emotional highs and lows that becomes addictive. You start chasing that good version of them, hoping it will come back if only you behave the right way. But that's the trap. They control you by controlling when you feel loved. Another subtle weapon manipulators use is playing the victim. They'll twist every situation to make it seem like they're the one who's been wronged. You confront them about their behavior, and suddenly they're crying, talking about how everyone abandons them, how hard their life has been. You end up comforting the person who just hurt you. It's emotional inversion, and it keeps you stuck in a cycle of caretaking and self-blame. Emotional manipulators are also masters of the silent treatment. When you do something they don't like, they withdraw affection, ignore your messages, or give you cold stares. You feel punished, desperate to make things right. You start over-explaining, apologizing, trying to earn their warmth again. And that's exactly what they want, for you to chase their approval. They know that silence can be louder and crueler than words. Another tactic is triangulation. They bring a third person into the dynamic to create jealousy, insecurity, or competition. They might casually mention how someone else understands them better, or compare you to an ex. The goal isn't to make you leave, it's to make you try harder. They want you off balance, always proving your worth. The more you compete for their attention, the more powerful they feel. And let's not forget projection. Manipulators accuse you of exactly what they're doing. If they're lying, they'll call you dishonest. If they're selfish, they'll say you never think of anyone else. It's a psychological smokescreen, a way to shift blame and confuse you. You end up defending yourself instead of noticing their behavior. Sometimes their manipulation comes disguised as help or concern. They might say things like, I'm just telling you this for your own good, or I only want what's best for you. But underneath that mask of care, there's control. They use concern to make you feel incapable, to make you doubt your decisions, to keep you small. All of these tactics serve one purpose: control through emotional dependency. They want you to question your worth, your memory, your intuition, so that you turn to them for validation. The more confused you are, the easier you are to manipulate. And yet, emotional manipulators rarely see themselves as abusers. They see themselves as survivors, as people who had to learn to control others to avoid being hurt. But whatever their reasons, the result is the same: They drain the people around them. They feed on attention, guilt, and emotional energy until you have nothing left to give. So how do you protect yourself? The first step is awareness. Once you can name the behavior, it loses part of its power. When someone twists your words, calmly repeat what you said and stand by it. When they guilt trip you, don't explain yourself. Simply say, "I'm not responsible for your feelings." When they give you the silent treatment, resist the urge to chase. Their silence is not your problem to fix. The second step is boundaries. Manipulators hate them because boundaries expose their lack of control. They'll push, test, guilt, and charm you into lowering your walls. Don't. Your no is your armor. You don't owe them explanations, apologies, or emotional access. And the final step, the hardest one, is detachment. Stop trying to win with them. There is no winning, because every game they play is rigged. The only way to protect your peace is to stop playing. You can be kind without being a caretaker, compassionate without being controlled. You can walk away without guilt. Emotional manipulators rely on confusion, guilt, and dependency to keep their victims in line. But once you see the pattern, once you refuse to feed it, their power dissolves. Because what they fear most isn't confrontation, it's clarity. Clarity is their kryptonite. When you see them for what they are, when you stop reacting, their tactics stop working. The fog lifts, the spell breaks, and all that's left is someone who can no longer reach you. So remember, the real secret to disarming emotional manipulators is not fighting harder, it's standing still in your truth. No guilt, no explanations, no apologies. Just calm, clear, unshakable self-respect. Because once you stop feeding the game ends. And you finally get back what they've tried to take from you all along. Your peace, your confidence, and your power to decide who gets access to your heart.